Hello boys, so in today's video, we are going to be discussing what is next for the Atlanta Falcons in the 2020 offseason, because normally after the draft, there really aren't, a lot of, stuff to do until, training camp gets started, so that's really where we get bored, but there are still some moves that teams do end up making. There's always that one move that happens after the draft. Like last year it was what's his name? Gerald McCoy going to the Panthers, and the Gone can Sue going to the Buccaneers. So there's always at least one move after the draft, and really that move this year could probably end up coming down to a Cam Newton. It may have already came with Jameis Winston going to the Saints. So what is next for the Falcons in the 2020 NFL offseason? Well, let's dive deeper into that. So as we know so far this offseason, the Falcons have actually made quite a lot of moves, which is actually kind of surprising. They released some players like Desmond Trufant and Devontae Freeman. They also signed some players like Dante Fowler and even Todd Gurley. So, we really gotta look, what else is there to do? We have right now the third least cap space in the NFL. But when you actually think about it, we actually get $10 million in cap after June 1st. But I was actually talking to someone the other night. They said once we sign all of our rookies, we're going to be maxed out on money. Which could be very, true. It probably is true. We're going to have a very little amount of cap space left. Like lots of these other teams that made big moves this offseason. But when you look at Thomas Dimitroff, this is a guy that can make moves. He can find ways to create cap space. He did it. He's done it so that we could go out and sign these players. Now, obviously, you can only create so much cap space. That's going to affect our future cap. But, we are in a win now mode. So, are we really shocked that he's doing this? Are we really shocked that Thomas Dimitroff is going out and signing all of these players? No, we shouldn't be shocked. We should be happy. But it does have an effect on our cap. So, what is next this off season? So I do want to mention really quick before we get into this topic, we did trade for defensive end Charles Harris. He was a member of the Miami Dolphins. We traded for him, and in return we got a 7th round pick. My initial thoughts, a good depth piece. He's not, he can start if someone goes down, but he's going to be a good depth piece for Dan Quinn's defense. So now let's get in. What is next this offseason? Well, I don't think we're going to be doing anything until June 1st at the earliest when we get that $10 million. But we also got to look when we sign our players. So that could probably, our rookies. So that probably takes up around $6-7 million. And right now I believe we got around $3 or $4 million in cap. So that only leaves us with about $6 million in cap, even after we sign our rookies, and, we get the $10 million. But what is next? So there have been a lot of rumors going around within the past week that the Falcons are interested in Yannick Ngakoue, the defensive end from the Jacksonville Jaguars, who has been basically demanding a trade. He has been demanding a trade, and basically the Falcons are one of the teams that are really interested in trading for Yannick Ngakoue from some sources. But when you really look at it, I don't think Yannick Ngakoue is, what we're going to be getting. I think that it would be very nice, and heck, we could maybe get him. But Yannick Ngakoue wants a long-term deal. He wants a long-term deal. So, why would we trade for a player that only has like a year left on his contract, I believe? I want to say a year left on his contract. Why would we trade for that player? Because we don't have any cap space. What is more realistic, and, in a way, this is actually the more realistic move. We go out and get an Everson Griffin. Everson Griffin is coming off his 4th Pro Bowl season and had a pretty damn good season last year and could be a very good piece to Dan Quinn's defense if we can get him. A defensive line consisting of Dante Fowler, Grady Jarrett, Marlon Davidson now, and Everson Griffin, with Takk McKinley having something to prove, actually. He does want to prove to the Falcons that we should have picked up his 5th-year option, and maybe that lights a fire under him, although I'm not really that optimistic on Takk. But Everson Griffin could actually be a pretty damn good move for us. He is not, this, like Aaron Donald type pass rusher or Khalil Mack or Nick Bosa. He is a veteran, but he could be a good veteran presence. We could sign him to a 1-year deal because the Falcons are in win-now mode. If we don't get a Super Bowl within the next 2 years, it's over. And we're not going to see our window is officially closed if we don't get it in 2 years. So, this could be a good piece to our defensive line. Or we could go out and we could sign, a corner. I believe, what's his name? If I get this wrong, I believe Jonathan Joseph is on the market. Maybe we get him to this defense because AJ Sorrell is not going to be able to come in week 1 and, just start locking down receivers. It's not going to happen, Isaiah Oliver did improve over the course of the season, but he still has, in a way, to prove himself. Kendall Sheffield, I think, is going to be a good corner eventually for the Atlanta Falcons. But we get a veteran presence in there to kind of teach these young players how to really do it. It could really be very good for the Falcons in the end. So, in conclusion, do I think that we're done the 2020 NFL offseason? I don't think so. Now, there have been rumors that the Falcons need to go out and get Cam Newton. Let me address this. If Cam Newton comes to Atlanta, he needs to know he's going to be a backup. Look, I love Cam Newton, and honestly, if it was any other quarterback that was worse than Matt Ryan, yes, I would take Cam Newton over them. But that's the thing. Matt Ryan, I am not going to replace him with a guy who has gone down with injuries for 2 straight years. No, absolutely not. I do not want a guy starting for my football team. Maybe you could come and learn something from Matt Ryan, how he passes the football. He's able to, and then, we let him back on the market, and then he can, maybe go, prove to teams that he can pass the football and, in a way, still run with the football. But I think he needs to go somewhere like maybe a Pittsburgh, New England. I have heard that it's not, they are not interested. Belichick, he knows what he's doing. But yeah, Cam Newton, if he comes here, he better know he's going to be a backup. The fans who say, I take an injured Cam Newton over Matt Ryan, they're just idiots and, in a way, ungrateful. But that is going to do it for this video. I really enjoyed the support. And yeah, I will see y'all on Wednesday. Rise up.